Hey there, thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team Blue, also known as Team 1 in the west, ending with Red Team, also known as Team 2 in the southeast and in the northeast as well. Starting off with Team 1's lone player in the southwestern corner of the map, we have Derp going first lane as an Aeon. He is in Royal Blue, and he is a 16-13 rating. To his north on an island sharing with somebody else, we have Bramwell going first line as a UEF. He is an Amethyst Purple at a 16-77 rating, the highest ranked player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And next to him in Stitch Blue is Banana Smoothie going first land as a Seraphim, and he is a 12-61 rating. So for Team 1 side of the map, we have one Seraphim, one UEF, and one Aeon, which means Team 1 does not have access to Cybran technology. Starting up with Team 2's lone player in the northeastern corner, we have in Chevy Crimson, Carl going first land and second there. He is a Cybran. He is a 15-18 rating. To his south in orange, the color orange, we have Sub-Q going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 15-76 rated, the highest ranked player on Team 2. And next to him, sharing the island, is Chems Nair 24. I think you say that. I'll probably call him Chems for short. He's going first land as an Aeon. He is a 14-68 rating in Ruby Red. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have one Cybran, one Seraphim, and one Aeon, which means Team 2 lacks Aeon technology. And as a reminder, Team 1 lacks Cybran technology. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reclaim before our players scoop it all up. We have 36,000 reclaim, which means for 6 players, it is almost 6,000 mass per player. That is a whole lot of mass to scoop up, and all of it residing on the edges of the map here along the shoreline and on the cliffs as well. 1,400 over here, another 1,000 over there. So lots of mass for our players to scoop up. So these players are going to be definitely gearing to move out very, very quickly. And we do see that outbound here from Team 2 and Team 1 players already on the move going after Mechs. Talking about Mechs, let's take Team 1 side of the map. We have a 5-star Mechs and another 5-star Mechs here for Team 1's Derp to grab on his section of the map, almost essentially an island. We, of course, see a nice dual Mechs in front of him and another dual Mechs. And in the northwest, we see another 5-star Mechs for, looks like Bramwell scooped that up. And then another set of dual Mechs here in the little middle causeway here, leading to the middle. And in the middle of the map here, not really a lot to go after. One Mechs per corner of the map to grab. But besides that, everything residing relatively on Team 2 and Team 1 side of the map. There is one tiny little island on the edges of the map with one Mechs, which, again, one Mechs can make the difference. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't see a lot of effort that's going to be thrown at that, at least early. And there's also not really a lot of reclaim over there as well. So our players, of course, will be focused on grabbing the reclaim closest to them and moving outward or going straight for the middle, which doesn't have any mass, and trying to deny mass closer to their opponents. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at movement here from Team 1 and Team 2. Team 2's movement, we see both of those columns from the southeastern corner moving to the middle. We see both Chems and Sub-Q making their way towards that central point on the map. And we do see on the western side, Derp moving in a northeastern direction towards the middle as well. Team 2's Chevy Crimson player all by himself of Carl, just going again after those Mechs is here in the northeast, going to get a nice little factory online, start pumping out engineers to reclaim all of the stuff that is on his little island, little section of the map. Tiny little Selen outbound here on a scout mission going after an engineer. Looks like it will not stop to kill the engineer, but is going in deep to take out any sort of engineers in the back line. Unfortunately, it does look like that engineer has been diverted, and there is a Mantis close by that might be able to deal with that Selen problem here for Carl. But Team 1's comms, 2 of them are in the water. Moving east, we're going to just walk down Team 2 solitary player of Carl. Very interesting play, using all of the firepower, both of the comms, against one of them. This will put Team 2's independent player of Carl on the defensive, especially with him dealing with a bomber flying overhead and going after his engineers. So definitely going to have to watch out for that. We might see an early ejection between these 3 players, but of course we're just going to have to keep our tabs on it. Team 2's approach, again, take the middle and then go either northwest or southwest. depending on which direction they want to take it. And I'm assuming one's at least going to go west. Looks like that's Kim's kind of drifting over in that direction, going after that nice little rock formation. And all those ones, and actually not ones, they're all tens, grabbing all of those tiny little rocks to scoop up into his coffers. We do see, of course, those comms for Team 1 now going in different directions almost. One going northeast and one going southeast to intercept the comm. I don't know if they can see him or not. No, they can't see him. They're just moving around the map for the time being. But they do have a air scout over top to get a nice little read out what's going on. But so far, of course, Team 2's Derp has gone for gun range. And this is definitely the better upgrade to go for the time being, because Team 2's not pressuring him for the time being. That will allow a lot of time to be able to build up for that extra range advantage and at least kind of hold back those units outbound from chems a little bit easier. We do see a little bit of piercing through here from Team 1. Looks like it's a nice little Tham running around the map here. He is, of course, going to try to get by and get to the rear of Carl's base. But now we see the comm of Bramble making landfall, going after that dual mechs position here. Of course, we do see a nice Zooey coming online here for Banana Smoothie as well. Carl will have to be forced to retreat. He's going to have to just sit here and build up those T1 factories, and then I don't know if he'll actually be able to finish those due to that Zooey just kind of shooting him down. He's being isolated. All of his supply lines are being cut by those two comms. Team 2's comm of Sub-Q going to divert to the north to assist. And that's definitely the better play here, making this a 2v2 engagement versus a 2v1 in favor of Team 1. Speed upgrade now on the way here for Derp after finishing the range upgrade. Trying to be very aggressive for that commander early on and use it to his advantage. Trying to essentially deny what Team 1 is doing to Team 2 currently with going after the independent player of Carl primarily first, which is, again, a good strategy. You take out the isolated player, it leaves your opponent with one player down, and then you go from there, especially in a ladder game like this, where there's only 3 players. Every point of APM makes a difference. Bombers over the top trying to just dissuade Team 1 from engaging, but there are some interceptors over the top to, again, divert those bombers elsewhere. And those comms here from Team 2 have regrouped and have started to refocus their efforts northward. Of course, this does allow a lot of time for both of those forces outbound from Banana and from Bramble to push into the middle and start essentially isolating now 2 players on Team 2 on this northeastern corner. Used to be 1, now it is 2, with these units coming in and hooking around and cutting off those supply lines from those 2 players. We do see a lot of floaty, naughty units outbound here from chems. Those Aurora coming in to use the water to his advantage. I would not be surprised to see him kind of shift them over westward, southwestwardly in this direction to be able to force either the comm of Derp to retreat or just engage those units in general. And again, we see a lot of movement outbound here from Team 2 to try to, again, secure this position on the map, not allow Team 1 to reinforce, essentially isolate the Aeon player of Derp in the southwestern corner. Range is coming online here for chems, doing the exact same lineup that Derp just did for those upgrades. Bombers over top going after Mexes or going after Pigeons maybe. Looks like they're going after Pigeons, going to get a nice AoE, take out a decent amount of them, taking out 9 of them with 3 bombs. Nice shot there from Sub-Q. What does that do to Derp's eco? Well, he's floating energy from his teammates, but he's not doing really well in that regard because he is down in energy production. We do see Carl just going to build up nice T1 torpedo launcher on board, and Bramble going for gun speed and range. I'm assuming that's Banana going for gun speed and range, and Bramble going for gun damage and range. Chems has now started his speed upgrade, and he's forcing his units forward to force back Team 1's Derp, and has now split some units off from the main group to go southwestwardly, but is going to encounter some blazes outbound from him. They are the T2 variants of the Aurora, they're a little bit more tanky. Their damage could be a little bit better, but again, when you're facing off 155 hit points versus 1,000, you can definitely tell who gets the advantage in that regard. And Derp with that nice little speed and range comm will get a nice engagement on the Aurora, as well as those Aurora focusing those blazes. Gun speed will finish here. Will he go for advanced range immediately? Will he send his comm forward? Looks like he's going to send his comm forward. They're going to build some radar systems to get some nice vision going on, and then be able to establish a frontline position there. Still in the water here, Team 2 trying to force back these Yenzi now outbound here from, is this Banana Smoothie? Yep. Carl has built, or started to build a T1 naval facility. Looks like he tried to go for a torpedo launcher. That didn't work. And now I wouldn't be surprised to see Banana Smoothie just reclaim this factory once it comes online, or as it's coming online. And Team 2 doing, I mean, not really a huge job in forcing Team 1 back. We see some gunships online, some Stingers. Not my favorite T2 gunship, but again, it is better than nothing. Constantly harassing Carl. It's essentially Carl is forced into this corner and can't make his way out. He does have some T1 AA in the area, but he needs to get those T2 flat cannons online to be able to deal with those gunships a lot easier. And those gunships will retreat. And kind of, again, all the harassment from Team 1, at least 2 of the players, are focused on 1. So when you have this mismatch of 2v1, it makes it very difficult for you to hold any sort of, tactical defensive position, just because you're constantly being raided, constantly being attacked, constantly trying to respond rather than attack, and try to, instead of being the one to perform the actions, you're the one reacting. But we do see in the southwest, Team 2's Chems has forced Derp into the water. This is a huge advantage now. This is a 1v1 scenario, so where Team 1 has 2 players focused on 1 player, Team 1 is able to do it with just 1. In the calm of Banana Smoothie walked out of the water, and a ton of Mantis were waiting for him. Carl, now leaving the water, has now lost his Team 1 naval facility, but of course we kind of knew that was going to happen. And Banana Smoothie looks like they'll be able to get out of range of those guns. From Yenzine distracting all of those shots from Sub-Q. And again, now it's a 2v2 without Sub-Q's forces or any other support. It still feels like a 2v1 scenario in terms of 2 bases worth of mass and eco and all of that versus 1. Looks like Sub-Q more focused on ecoing up. He has T3 air online at 11 minutes. Team 1 does not, is about to. And that will be a little bit advantage here for Team 2's Sub-Q to be able to force back. Most likely either Derp or Banana Smoothie would be the 2 targets I would go after. Banana Smoothie being the weaker of the 2, because he's only sub at 6,000 hit points. See a lot of gunships assisting Team 1's Derp from Bramble, trying to secure the skies above him. Stingers are, in position to try to go after Chems, but Chems can easily just fall, slide his way into the water and call it a day. Interceptors are on station. They will be able to deal with a couple of those gunships pretty quickly. It will take them a little bit longer than ASFs, but again, something's better than nothing. And it's constantly raiding here. We see Banana Smoothie back and forth in the water here in the south. We see Bramble back and forth in the water in the north, constantly forcing these units to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and really not allowing Team 2 to get some sort of hold on this tiny narrow neck of land. And it also doesn't help that floaty, naughty units are online, constantly, again, deterring any sort of defensive line, because those units can just go whoop and go all the way around it. And we see T2 coming online here for Carl, going to get some more hit points on board and get some tickle cannons online to assist in defensive measures. And again, in this point, for Carl, anything is better than nothing. We see Banana Smoothie leading the charge with his forces, pretty much outnumbered, but again, there are a decent amount of Ilshi's T2.5 units online. But Sub-Q is nearby as well, so Banana Smoothie has to be very careful, sit near the water's edge, so that he's able to duck in if he needs to. Of course, even though those Ilshis are very good units and they're very powerful, they can be overwhelmed just like any other unit. You see the Mantis are the primary target here for those Ilshis, not going after the commander. And of course, the commander getting some nice vacancies from killing off said Ilshis. We do see a little bit of raining going on the way here for Sub-Q in the west. Don't really know if it's going to get any more work done, but looks like it did some work, at least at a minimum. And again, that defensive line for Team 1 encroaching onto Team 2's front line, and they've almost grabbed the entire northern section of the middle, while Team 2's player of Chems has grabbed the southern side of the middle. Essentially, how fast can one player isolate and kill off the other one is essentially what it is. Team 1's main focus is killing off Carl or isolating him and forcing him into a corner and not letting him leave. And we see Team 2's response to that of Chems doing the exact same thing to Team 1's Derp. We do see a decent amount of T2 units online here for Derp, launching a frontal assault on that base of Chems. Chems doesn't really have a lot to defend with this. Doesn't even have, well, he does have T2. But he skipped T2, is going straight to T3. Will this benefit him? I don't think so, just due to the fact that there are T2 units, beating on his door, waiting to engage, which they currently are. You see more units coming in, and all of those units that were being sent to the front lines to assist have now been forced back and trying to intercept and slow down this push. There are a lot of blazes. Of course, they don't do a lot of damage, as mentioned before, but again, something is better than nothing. Looks like it will deter Team 1's forces from going straight into the base and allowing a little bit of time to finish that T3 land headquarters. We'll see if he goes straight for Harbingers or goes for Engineers first. He definitely needs some assistance in the land game, most definitely. And we haven't seen any naval forces online for either team as of yet. We just see that one attempt from Carl, and that was it. In a lot of water map, we see essentially the water being negated just due to the fact that it's such, it's a decently small map, and land, especially due to the hover tech, playing a huge role in what our players are focusing on. We see a couple of units now here from Bramble getting into Team 2's Carl's base, going after some T2 mexes. And unfortunately here for Team 2, he's not really prepared for it. All his units are being sent to deal with that problem, giving a lot of time for Team 1 to gain a little bit more ground and force back Team 2. Still same incursion here in the south, and it's still not getting past the beachhead. There are some Obsidians online, decently tanky units. They are the other T2.5 units in the game, in my opinion. You can see their shields doing a very good job of holding those blazes at bay, especially with those blazes not moving and the artillery landing on top of them. T3 air, of course, has been completed. T3 land has been completed. Team 1 does have T3 air as well. No T3 land as of yet, but they do have, a decent section of the map underneath their control. So for now, they don't really need it. But I kind of do see a scenario in which Team 1 definitely needs to go for that. We do see some upgrades have been started to go for T3, at least from one player. Upbound from Derp. Derp has been forced back for the time being from invading. And now Team 2's Cams is going to be more on the defensive than the offensive, giving a lot of time for Derp to build up more defenses or even just push into Team 2's territory. Strap Bomber over the top going after Derp's commander. Of course, he does have shield on board, but that shield has been negated just for the time being due to the fact it has lost some of its capacity and has to fully recharge before it can be used once again. We can see that T3 Bomber sizing up the comm of Derp, wanting to get a nice clear engagement. Looks like he will be given the order to engage once again. And that comm of Derp is underneath shield coverage for the time being, but that shield coverage won't protect him for forever. I thought it was going to drop the bomb, but I guess not. Tried to hover bomb or something. Didn't really work. Anything in chat about it? Nope, there was not. We still don't know what's going on with that bomb. It looks like it's actually retreating for the time being. Don't know really where it's going, but something's going on. Tactical missile is done here for Bramble, and he's going to be using that to great effect. Team 2 has a couple of TMDs online, but not too many, so there might be some weak points in that armor that he can use. But there is Torpedo coming online here for Carl, and that's going to be huge, allowing him to try to deny Bramble for being close to his front line. Torpedoes are out going after T2 AA emplacements as they are in the water. They don't necessarily hover there, but sometimes they build a little piece of land they can sit on it. There goes that. All of the hover units will not be affected by the torpedo comm of Carl, but he will be able to target some units like the comm. But definitely Bramble will have to keep on the move for the time being. Now we see the comm of Banana Smoothie on the southeastern side of the island here. Actually, it's southwest, technically. And is going to emerge and build some PD. If Team 2's Carl doesn't notice, this could be huge, and he could be knocked out entirely here just due to this engagement of some PD. But we do see bombers on station trying to deny Banana Smoothie's little beachhead maneuver. And maybe that will work. I would hope that maybe a strap bomber from Team 2's airplay of Sub Q would come and assist. This would be a perfect opportunity to use it, but it's back here. So maybe another one we killed off. But all the ASF and the interceptors here for Bramble over here. And I feel like some protection should be warranted to Banana Smoothie. Banana Smoothie still trying to get underwater so he doesn't get attacked from those bombers. And Team 2 is still trying to hold that little narrow neck of land here in the northeast. And now we see Team 1 almost control the entire central point on the map. And again, if it wasn't for the fact that there's just a couple of mexes, I'd say this point is entirely useless. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have map control and all of that, but if you don't gain anything from map control, then what's the point? it'd be better off to just put your units around strategic targets like this position or whatever the case may be. But there are a couple of mexes that Team 1 can go after, and Team 2. But Team 2 has now gone full defensive mode. They're not wanting to engage on Team 1's terms. They want to have them come to them. Have Team 1 come to them. Definitely a good thinking in that regard. Banana Smoothie hit with a Strat Bomber outbound here from that orange, the color orange player of Sub Q. He will actually retreat for the time being. And he's trying to draw in the ASFs and other units here from Team 1. And I understand he's thinking use a big target like this to force Team 1 to engage. And we do see some Torp Bombers online. Strat Bomber going to try to engage, take out the Comm underneath the water. Comm is still trying to move. And those Torp Bombers going to force Team 1 to move units in and assist. Looks like all of the units now going to try to shield the Comm of Team 1's Banana Smoothie. We have some Wagners with torpedo-capable weapon systems online. Banana Smoothie is all around him. And, of course, because they're Cybran, they actually sit underneath the water. And this is a game of T2 units here, just Hovertech versus Wagners, in the sense that they are the only ones that have submarine-capable weapon systems. All the other hover units do not. And that will force Banana Smoothie to get out of the water, and the Strat Bomber that is nearby will be able to engage. There are interceptors nearby. And the land invasion has occurred to distract Team 2, allowing Banana Smoothie to try to escape. Wagners are still on the tail of Banana Smoothie. Interceptors are annihilated by those ASFs. Outbound here from Team 2 Sub Q, and those Wagners now coming out of the water to engage with their regular weapon system. Strat Bomber lands on top of Banana Smoothie's Comm, and I think he pushed a little bit too far forward too quickly without any support, and there he goes. He takes all of those Wagners with him. And it is now a 3v2 in favor of Team 2 at 21 minutes on the clock. Let's take a look at the stock here for both teams. Team 2 just scored a victory on Team 1 with eliminating one of their players. It's a 2v3 in favor of Team 2. Team 1 sitting at almost 460 mass income. Team 2 not even cresting 300. Team 1 is in the lead for mass generation. But, of course, Team 2 could turn this into an assassination game and go after the other two comms and win that way. But in terms of map control, Team 1 definitely in the lead, and obviously that shows due to their mass income. But not just that. You can see there's a lot of investment to upgrade all mexes to T2 at a minimum, or most of them at least. And that will play a huge role in Team 1 skyrocketing their eco very, very quickly, especially with Team 2 losing main base eco here from Carl. Carl's lost 4 of his mexes so far. One more Blaze trying to take out that T2 mex. Don't know if he'll get it, but still... They might get another one over here, but that's a lot of mass that Carl is losing. And he is the isolated player on here, Team 2. He needs all the mass he can get. But, of course, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And, of course, thank you so very much for watching to this point. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to the channel. So thank you so very much. And we do see a missile outbound here from Bramble. There is a Team D nearby. It is a Zapper. We'll be able to deal with that TML, or mobile TML, I should say, from the comm very, very easily. If it was a Billy Nuke, that one Zapper would not have been enough. But he doesn't have Billy Nuke at the current moment, so that's definitely the Team 2's advantage. And look at that. 5 mexes were killed off here for Carl. He's really suffering below 100 mass income. Derp looks like he had some power issues. Looks like he's fixed it now. He's back. Yeah, it looks like he has back up to almost 200 income here for himself and for his team. Starting stealth, says Carl. I mean, I don't... Where is he? Oh, he's right there. I don't know if that's really worth it. I don't know. I feel like... I mean, he's going for nano. I do understand why he's going that route, but... I mean, there's probably other upgrades he could go for. We can't go for teleporter right now. He could go for Raz just to scale his eco up a little bit, but I don't even know if he has the eco to scale with it. He's not really producing a whole lot of both of mass and energy, so maybe not. But he is holding his own with some assistance here from his teammates, and that's all that matters. Is it doesn't matter how well you perform, it matters how you perform as a team. So even if one player is lagging behind, the other one picks up the slack, it benefits the team in general. Now with Team 1's Bramble under the control of all of the resources here in the Northwest, he's going to get very, very tanky very quickly. I mean, he is UEF, but still, he's going to scale his eco very quickly. Well, of course, he is pulling back in his offensive measures, trying to be a little bit more defensive, just because they've lost a comm, so that would make sense why he'd be defensive. And we do see those Wagners underneath those Yenzin. We've, under the water versus hover, essentially, is what's going on here. Kind of hard to see that through the water, 'cause it's not really crystal clear to see the Wagners underneath it, but you do see the Wagners are moving into Team 1's Brammel's base. And I don't see, there are units moving in to intercept, and Otham is on the surface, not first surface, the bottom of the water. And they have torpedoes online, but looks like he's going to use his superior weapon systems once he gets onto land versus their torpedo. Torpedoes aren't bad for these units. They're just not as good as their main weapon systems. The Otham being a primary candidate of that with their, I think it's dual cannon firing. There's two different types of fire on board. But transport outbound from Derp going all the way around the map has some blazes on board. You get a nice little view of that, using that transport to be able to get them around the map very, very quickly here. Missile outbound going after Mechs is going to kill that one off right now. And Team 2's position is a little bit weakened here. Blazes do make landfall, and it is going to just be scorched earth here from the northeastern corner for Team 1. Taking everything out, whether it's be missile launcher. Actually, that's a regular missile launcher, excuse me. It is an Aloha. It is hello and goodbye all at the same time. We do see some Harbingers forcing their way forward here for Team 2's red flare of Cams. Actually, I'd say Ruby Red, because there are two reds technically. And this far superior T3 force will be able to mow down Team 1's meager T2 and T1 forces. We do see some PD being built for defensive measures, and the Nakama Brammo getting some more PD online. The formers from Triads using those hills to his advantage. We can see shields are protecting the Harbingers, and they have personal shields on board. This is a huge push outbound here from Team 2. Those forces need to kind of what would be the word for it? Not concentrate, but form up more, kind of not centralize, but make actual formations and move in formation. But they are ripping through those defenses. Harbingers, of course, they are the weakest of the T3 mainline unit, but they do a lot of damage, especially when you account the fact that they do have the engineering suite on board. Kama Brammo has been targeted. Brammo going to get into the water now. Harbingers could kill him off if they do target him. Overcharging does take out a couple of hit points on board. I think it took out a Harbinger there, but Brammo was forced into the water. It might have been a kill had the Harbingers focused him initially. But of course it will force him in the water. Team 1's defenses are offline. Actually, they've been taken offline is actually a better way to put it. And we see the Wagners coming in to assist. The Wagner is going to get a second kill here for Team 2. Lol, says Carl. And yeah, that is definitely a funny moment here. Team 1's going to lose another player here. And even if Brammo can get out of the way of the Wagners, it doesn't matter. If he makes landfall, it doesn't matter. If he makes it to back further into the water, it doesn't matter. I thought I saw some port bombers come in to assist. Brammo at 600 hit points, trying to dodge the best he can. Shots into those units. Actually, neither of them can shoot each other because they're at such close range. Wagner's, I don't know why they can't target the comm. They're sitting on a hillside. Nice overcharge, takes out a couple of them. There's a Harbinger now online here for Derp. This might just save Brammo, luckily, due to the environment issues going on. This should have been a kill here for Team 2. That is definitely disappointing, annoying here for Carl. Brammo, by the skin of his teeth, hides on top of that little hill here, or on the side of the hill here, really messing with the pathfinding of Team 2's units. But still, he's lost the air grid here, and Team 2 will have air control sooner rather than later. Strap bombers are inbound, so maybe even if he gets out of the way, it doesn't matter. ASFs are called for to intercept those bombers en route, and ASFs will be called to intercept them as they pass by. No strap bombers are going to get by here shortly here. Team 1 just barely gets saved. Was that a glitch, says Carl. I don't really know. It just looked like those Wagners just couldn't target him for some reason because he was on a hill. They moved all the way around up here, and then they moved all the way back. They just couldn't find a way to target him. Team 1 avoids disaster, but it might be some issue. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that. Definitely Brammo should have died. That's my opinion. Definitely should have died. I don't really know what to call that, but that's definitely something, that's for sure. He has 38 hit points a second, repping up actually pretty nicely considering he doesn't have nano. And we do see, of course, Derp's Calm to assist as well. He's at 25,000 hit points plus an additional 12. Oh, nope, never mind, he has power issues. He doesn't have that. Team 1 has lost their air grids, so a lot of power generating facilities have been taken offline. You can see Derp at negative power, and Bramble should be... Yeah, he's also at negative power. But Team 2 has the advantage. You can see that with their, mass generation more than Team 1's, and that's, of course, mainly due to the power being negative. You can't produce as much mass if you don't have the power to run the structures, of course. Wagner's pushing in once again, looking like they're going to go after Derp or Bramble's commander. Bramble is actually going to send his comm forward once again. They are T2 units. He's at 3-star veterancy, so he's a little bit more tanky now. And all of those Wagners redirect to go after Bramble once again. This is round 2, or in this case, if you count the Wagners, round 3. Bramble just going to full send it. There should be some torpedoes launching. There they go. Bramble trying to, of course, go between land and water to be able to deter those units from firing. But there they go. They finally killed off the column of Bramble. It is now a 1v3. It is Derp versus Team 2. And the advantage, of course, is Derp will have control of all of the massive for his team. Team 2, of course, have the advantage of APM. We do see a T2 naval facility online here for Derp. And it looks like he might be starting to produce some destroyers to force back Team 2 on this southern side. And a decent amount of engineers trying to, I think, distance build is what they're trying to do, but just can't get close enough. I think they got to stand right here. A couple of bombers go over top, take out a couple of those engineers. Last comm up here says sub Q. Yeah, he's right here. He is actually going to retreat southward to avoid detection. All of the ASFs here for Derp now surrounding the comm of Carl. And Carl doing a very good job of, essentially being the man of the match so far. He's gotten 2 kills, both of them from his Wagners. He's had some assistance here from Team 2's other players, of course, but he's been the main driving force for why 2 of the players on Team 1 have died. Granted, to be fair, that encounter from Bramble and those Wagners should have killed him anyways. Don't really know what happened with that, but he did come in and secure the kill anyways. So, yeah, is it bad? No. Is it annoying? Yes. So, just one of those weird things. I've never seen that where a comm standing on a hill somehow just voids the ability for those units to target him. I don't know if it's because they thought he was over here and over here. They just couldn't find a way to target him. No idea why that was the case, but let me know down in the comments what you thought of that. And a little bit quiet now in the middle of the map. Team 1 very hyper-focused on being defensive. We see a lot of outbound attacks here in the south, though, due to that T2 naval facility online, but don't really see that being a huge issue for the time being. All of the ASFs for Team 1 are over here. They don't even have an air grid. They're looking like they're upgrading. No, that's a T2. Yeah, they haven't built a T3 air headquarters once again. More P-gens to get their power generation still back online, or get it back online, I should say. They are now positive, but just barely, so be very careful how they spend their energy. We do see a lot of cleaning up here from Team 2, taking out defenses and other units roaming the map. Harbingers moving in eastward. I don't really know where they're going. And now we see some Authams over here going after the base. Once again here for Carl. Looks like he's just finally got everything back to normal, but has another attack on the horizon. That horizon being at his front door. And doesn't really have anything to defend with against this, unfortunately, so those Authams will get tons of value out of them. And missile launchers still trying to harass this army of Harbingers and other supporting units. Team 2 still has all 3 of their commanders remaining, but again, the disadvantage that they have is that all of the mass for Team 1 is being funneled into one purpose, right? One player into 1 or 2 purposes. They're really easy to like hyper focus on something and get all the upgrades done, and then do the and do the energy, then do this and that and the other thing. They can really just crank things out a lot easier than trying to do 10 different things at the same time. Looks like those Authams actually just avoid the main base. Don't really know why, because they could easily have just steamrolled the position. Lots of units now essentially just going to force Team 2 to just evict the northern section of the side of the map for Carl. Carl is being given the eviction notice here, and it looks like he can't pay rent, and looks like he might just take another base or just move to the western side. His units are more concentrated in going after the remains of Team 1's northern bases that once belonged to Bramble and Banana. But those bricks are not enough to break through that defensive line that Team 1 has built up. And those destroyers in the water not really doing a whole lot. Nice to have a cruiser online to take out some of those ASS flying over top, but missile launcher outbound, or missile outbound from a missile launcher from Team 2. It's right here. It's a little serpentine, and it does do a little serpentine as it flies in the air. I find it very funny that they do that. But there are some PD trying to target the blazes and other units down here. A nice little asylum, but again, they can't just jump and climb up to this upper plateau. And it looks like there's conversations between Team 2's players talking about, well, scout for the comm. Comm of Derp is currently sitting right here. It looks like their goal is assassination, because if they kill off Derp, that is the game. And I mean, sometimes FAF does turn into an assassination game of how long can you last. But I will speed it up a little bit because I feel like a lot of things have died down. There is a Colossus online here for Derp. That's going to be a huge advantage in pushing back Team 2. They do have a decent amount of T3, so that Colossus does have to watch it. It also has T3, but it's not moving into support, so don't know why it's not. There will be definitely a missed opportunity here for Team 1 if they don't push. But Team 1 has grabbed air control, at least I wouldn't say dominance, air control. They don't have any air facilities. It's only a matter of time before Team 2 outpowers them in the air power. They're not even building more air facilities at all, so Team 2 does have that advantage in that regard. I won't bring it back to 0 because it looks like things are popping off. Yeah, still no air grid. Very weird. Anyway, the Colossus is pushing forward here on this southeastern side here against Chems. Chems and some Q's Island is being attacked both by destroyers in the bay to his west and a Colossus with T3 supporting units from the northwest. Team 2 needs some sort of answer to this. If they have their own Colossus or even a chicken, that would definitely be beneficial here. But looks like the Colossus will stand on top of an old PGen facility. That's definitely an interesting place to put that, but it gives it a nice little platform to stand on. Nice little visual detail there. It doesn't happen when you put a Colossus like command to like build one, but it looks more official. They're just going to build a PGen on top of it anyway, so why not? Just use the same land marker, because why not? Colossus still pushing forward, undeterred by all of the little bombers flying over top. Team 2 needs to just full send at this point. The mass is on their doorstep. Obviously the closer they can get it to their doorstep, the better, but it's right here. Colossus is nearby. If Team 2's T3 units can hold this position here, Colossus will be able to get there in enough time to be able to kill off the Colossus and drop that mass on Team 2's doorstep. It is Aeon v Aeon crime here. Lots of Harbingers. There are a lot more Asylums online, which is one of the reasons why the Harbingers have been able to survive so long. But just the overwhelming firepower of those Harbingers from Team 1 are able to break through that shielding. The Colossus has opened fire on one another. Volthus online as well gets shot out of the sky very, very quickly by some flak nearby. But it looks like that Colossus from Team 2 will win all of the Harbingers, focusing on all of the other ones. And once that Colossus dies here for Team 1, it's open season for those Harbingers for that Colossus to go after. It's essentially duck season or rabbit season, depending on who you favor in that whole debate between Bugs and Gaffrey. You can see Laser has no focus. It should be grabbing, oh, there it goes. It does grab some Harbingers to crush them by its meaty claws. But don't think they're going to be able to kill this off. 1-star veterancy. It is in the red. There are a lot of shields surrounding it, though. Some of the Harbingers are underneath the shield, so that doesn't help. Probably should target the units that could shoot at you first, but it's targeting all of the AA, it looks like. Don't know why. It might just... Oh, this is going to be close. They might actually kill the Colossus off. No, it was definitely close. But no cigar here. Had the destroyers come here sooner, it probably would have favored Team 1. I don't know if they would have prevented the destruction of their Colossus. But at least at the minimum, this one would have died, and now the Colossus go to this pond to hide and rep back up. It is at 2-star veterancy, so 60 hit points a second. Feel the region quite nicely. It will take a while to get back up to full HP, but at least it's there. Gunships online, taking out those destroyers not covered by AA. There is some ASFs nearby, but they're not really engaging. They're kind of engaging, but not really. Team 2's ASFs just flying in, trying to, again, give a little bit more time for those gunships to stay online. They've taken out at least one destroyer for the time being. They might get a second one. Oh, they get a second one, and the ASF clean up the ASF from Team 1. Team 1 building a lot of AA and essentially just, instead of PD creeping, they're AA creeping on Team 2. We do see some counter attacks outbound from some Chems' Blazes. There we go. Gotta word that correctly. Let's see, how is it going up in the northwest? Air grid has been reestablished here and is building once again. But now that the ASFs are dead in the water here for Team 1, Team 2 has air control just due to the fact that there's not really any ASFs online. And looks like Carl's base has just been ripped to shreds in the interim, just constantly being attacked. You can see all the bases are gone, except for one. Large, massive reclaim operations are coming online. And Carl has just suffered this game. He does have 2 kills. So, on the one hand, he's doing very, very good against, ComVcom and all of that stuff. But on the other hand, his base, his defenses are just ripped to shreds. Laser started here for Carl. Very interesting. Maybe he'll try to surprise. I think they know where Derp is. No, they don't know. Maybe they saw him for a brief second. I don't know. But he is going to go for laser. Very, very interestingly. Does Team 1's Derp see him? No. Well, at least for the time being, they have that element of surprise. Blazes being used to take out all of those destroyers. It's pseudo-naval units versus actual naval units. More facilities are online. If Team 1's Derp does go for the missile ship, the T-31, that could be huge for cracking this position. But because it's on an upper plateau, it really makes it difficult for those harbingers, for those destroyers to target that facility. Another Colossus is online, but it's all by its lonesome. A ton of shields online here for Chems. I mean, when I say a ton, I'm talking about 43 of them versus the 10 harbingers that he has. So a 4-to-1 ratio here for those shields. And here comes that Colossus moving in all by its lonesome with no support. Definitely not what you want to do. There's no ASF, there's no AA, there's no harbingers, there's no nothing. But it does look like that Colossus goes, oh, I should probably wait. And it does retreat and group up with those units. And in the north, we see spam operations here for Derp as well to try to, again, keep Carl at bay and force him back. He is getting some bricks and other units online to defend, but is still reeling from the attacks that have constantly plagued his main base. He is going for that laser upgrade. I don't know really what's going to happen. We do see some torp launchers coming online. I guess maybe they know where he is. I don't really know, but we'll guess we'll have to see and find out. And it's the back and forth here in the southwest. More destroyers online. These units just sitting here from Chems. He's got to move them in. Asylum's protecting them, but they can only do so much, of course. Donut online here for Chems as well. So huge donut here for Team 2. Nice AA unit, as well as, of course, a nice juicy target for Team 1 to focus their fire on. Torpedo bombers are building up here for sub-Q as well. And it looks like the donut is going after that Colossus. Second one as well coming in to assist. But now we see the land army moving in. This Colossus is essentially dead in the water, or in this case on land. I don't know if this is really the smartest idea here for Chems. He doesn't have the attack power on the ground to really make it worth it. Shield has started to be ripped through here from those AA forces underneath that donut. We even see some ASFs getting into the mix here. More ASFs from Team 2 to shield it and assist. Colossus will be focused by the donut, but there's not bounces, redeemers online targeting said donut. Looks like the donut will be forced back. Again, I don't really understand this engagement. I mean, I do understand the fact that, they're taking out a Colossus from the air, but there's so much AA nearby and it's not even being targeted. The donut will fall on top of the Colossus at this rate. It's dropping close to the red. There it goes. And it is going to die here. Going to try to go after any of those other units, but doesn't matter. There it goes. Don't really know where Chems was going with that. Definitely a missed opportunity here. Probably should have kept that in back. But we do see an outbound attack here from Chems going after the naval facilities here for Team 1's Derp. Took out the T2 naval headquarters, but he has a lot more units back here that he can use. But it looks like he's constantly distracted with going after one thing or the other. Squadrons of Bombers are online here for sub-Q. Definitely something that probably assisted with that push. And now with the Colossus in the well, it's not out of the one-on-one skin, but now that the donut is grounded, the Harbingers could easily just sit here and scoop up 24,000 mass. Definitely could use that ability, but they have torps, says Carl. Yes, they do, but that should be enough. He has laser. It looks like he has taken a decent amount of shots to the face or the chest or the arm or whatever the heck he is taking him to. Going for nano. Looks like the engineers are actually going to... I thought they were going to essentially torp creep him, but I don't think that's happening. Attack once again outbound here from Team 1. This one now has 2 Colossi, as well as a Colossus from Team 2 actually retreating. You see Chems in the water with a shield on board that commander. Does have range and gun, but probably should go for the advanced range at this point. But again, with 2 Colossus, I don't think that's the best idea to engage. One Colossus is almost dead, but even if this Colossus from Team 2 engages, it doesn't matter. Those 2 will rip through that other one. And now Team 2 is on the back foot. Probably should kept the donut in rear. There are engineers online. Going to go for a nice little shield and probably get some engineers online to scoop that wreck up. Colossus is online now here for Chems as well. That's probably what this one is waiting for. It's waiting for its twin or its brother to come in and assist. This one's still in the water, and now these 2 have walked past the first one. They're going to engage the second one. Oh, this is a missed opportunity. You can get them from 2 sides. Oh, you could have at least taken out this one here. Focus the... Oh, there it goes. It is online, and there's a chicken as well. It is a 2v3 scenario in terms of experimentals. Team 2 has gained a decent advantage here. Looks like they were just luring them in a false sense of security. Even the caster myself didn't even notice that this is... I was like, oh, they're going to just walk into Team 2's base, but apparently not. Colossus online once again here for Derp. Going to go after the weakened one over there. But again, it's a 3v1, and Carl has been defeated by Derp. Looks like he came onto land and got killed off by a Colossus. It's now a 2v1 still in favor of Team 2, and Torp Bombers over top taking out all of those destroyers. Cannot target the blazes because they hover. They are actually not in the water, so torpedoes can't actually hit them. But they're taking out all of the other facilities here. Team 1 has lost all of their naval structures, and now they're going to build a donut. So maybe they'll use the wreck from the donut from Team 2 to funnel the not the upgrade, but the construction of the donut for Team 1's derp. Still don't understand the emphasis on the donut, at least for Team 1 standing. Team 2 has air. They have Team 1 has a little bit of air, but not by much. So I don't understand the reasoning behind going for donut. Usually you only go for your air experimental when you have air superiority, or you're about to have it, or in case, let's say, the Awasa bomber, where you really want to just crack a position and then have something come in and finish it off, or just have it do the actual finishing off. I don't know, but the donut, because of the way they're designed, they are slow. So it's definitely one of those riskier plays. They have the long-range missiles, very similar to the Restorers, but besides that, I don't know if that's really worth it. Missile actually going after the mass, going to take out 4,000 of it. So Team 2 actively denying the mass from Team 1, even though Team 1 isn't even going for it. But again, that is an interesting tactic, using a missile to take out mass and make it less valuable. Definitely a interesting concept. Not an interesting concept, but definitely... I don't see it used all the time. I have seen a nuke be used for that, but that's kind of overkill, in my opinion. Bombers over the top here from Derp, just cleaning off this position here that once belonged to Carl. Team 1 has been vacated from the northeastern corner of the map. Sorry, Team 2 has been vacated by Team 1 in the northeast corner of the map. Lots of units now funneling to the southeastern corner. The last bastion here for Team 2. And we have Chems being attacked by some Othams underneath the water. Looks like he could just easily reclaim them, but maybe he's focused on other endeavors, which is probably the case. Chickens and Colossi working together to force back Team 1. Team 1 has 3 Colossus. Team 2 has 2 Colossus and 2 chickens. Definitely will favor Team 2, but those 2 Colossus are severely weakened, and they're not even going into the fight. The chicken is retreating, being lasered by 2 Colossus at the current moment. Again, I don't know really why he's leading the charge. Team 2 could easily just hold off, let the mass come to them, but doesn't want to do that. Chicken annihilated by those Colossi. Definitely, I feel like a waste here from Team 2. And again, they lost 1 experimental for essentially nothing. Make Nuke, says Carl. I mean, Team 1 doesn't have any SMD online in any location. That could be a nice advantage here for Team 2, but they're focused on chicken production and Colossus production, not really anything else. 47 minutes on the clock. I think I'm going to speed it back up once again just because there's really not a whole lot going on. Large string of spam outbound here for Team 1. The donut is online and moving in. Actually going to go sit on the edge of Team 2's base. ASF might be called in for a trap, but they're going to, the donut going to move in just to that front line. ASFs are moving in to intercept. At least I think they're moving in to intercept. Okay, there you go. The donut is retreating. They're trying to draw the ASF into the AA range. But unfortunately here, that donut, like I said, is not really useful when you don't really have air to protect it, and it gets annihilated anyways. The Normandy invasion has occurred here for Team 1's derp, trying to force back Team 2 in that regard, but there are gunships online. There are other defenses online in terms of units. Outbound here from chems. Colossus could rotate. More Colossus online here as well. Looks like everything in the land situation gifted over to chems. We have 4 Colossus versus 2 Colossus and 2 chickens. Definitely will favor Team 2. I like this survival mod, says Carl. I mean, honestly, I don't think of it as a survival game just due to the fact Team 2 had a huge advantage with APM and all of that for a while, but I think they just let Team 1 kind of fester a little bit too long. And now we see just this push by Team 1. Of course, attacking when your opponent has a decent amount of experimental is not the best idea, because you're going to have to retreat anyways at some point, and yeah, it's just essentially gifted mass over to Team 1. Taking a look at the reclaim, Team 2 at 180,000, Team 1 at 60, sorry, Team 2 180,000. But Team 1 producing 850 mass versus Team 2's 460. You can see where the mass is really coming into fruition here for Team 1. That's due to the map control. And we see Colossus focusing fire, but the spam from the west has essentially been taken out. Team 2 will hold for the time being. Chicken has been killed, but there are still 3 more Colossi online. It doesn't look like the experimentals from Team 2 are focusing on one target. And pushing forward with the Colossus, not the best idea. Should be pushing forward with the chicken. But even if the chicken dies, the Ion Stone engages the Colossus and takes out more of their hit points. It looks like Team 2 will stave the bleeding, though. Well, at least some of it. They do have an attack on the eastern side while the experimentals are busy. And they are getting in. Chems actually just retreating. Or, sorry, chems, not chems. Maybe it is chems. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I just stuck with the pronunciation. Call it good. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Colossus Rex plus 2 Chicken Rex. Large amount of mass here for Team 2 to scoop up. Team 1 is probably not going to get their hands on that. Oh, that's the wrong button for reclaim. 400,000 reclaim. And there's 15,000 of it up here. It looks like it hasn't been fully reclaimed / built out here by Team 1's derp. A lot of mass at his disposal, but he can use. Team 2 has had air control for a while. They just don't really want to do anything with it. I don't know. Looks like there is a nice little Spectre. Went after a radar. Blinding his opponent. Definitely a good idea there. It has been pinged by somebody on Team 1. So, oh, sorry, by Team 2. And the rest of the experimentals have started to push out and force back Team 1. But at this point, there's now Colossus being a nice little sneaky boy and using the environment to his advantage. Chicken does notice it, though. And now the Colossus will focus fire on that one from Team 1. Again, it's now in range of artillery from Team 1. So again, it's more of just Team 2 being not forced into a situation, but being lured into a situation. That Colossus has a little bit of ways to get underneath the surface of the water. We'll lose a lot of hit points from this. We'll drop below 50% and actually just going to stand there. Definitely not what that Colossus should be doing. The gunships just retreat for no reason, thinking that ASF or whatever are nearby, but they are not. And of course the experimentals are moving in northwest once again. The Donut Rex still online, or still there, I should say. 18,000 reclaim remain from that donut. Another Colossus is online here for derp, just constantly producing Colossus. He should be sending them underneath the water, which he's currently doing. Send them this way. This is where Team 2 is a little bit weaker. But more gunships, more chickens are coming online. Team 2 forcing their way back once again. once most of the spam has been dealt with, now we see a lot of Autumns coming online here. Those look like the Chicken and Colossus team up will retreat at least a little bit, try to secure the Rex. Get some engineers out there going for the Harbinger play for the engineering suite, trying to again get as much reclaim as they can. They are down, of course, in mass generation, but they're pretty much not staying with Team 1's generation, or in terms of total mass accrued, but, you know, 100,000 mass is a lot, but they are starting to catch up just due to the fact that, again, reclaimed 256,000 versus Derp's 64,000. Not all of it was from him, but most of it is because he's been the longest alive here. 52.5 minutes on the clock. Experimentals push out once again. Autumn's trying to just run on by, but those Colossus say no. And will kill those units off. More chickens out spreading here from Team 2 and other experimentals as well. The Colossus would love to see something else from Team 2. Not necessarily a donut. They do have a nuke, so they went for the nuclear option. That is, it's about, what, a quarter of the way loaded. That will definitely prove interesting for Team 1. Derp still has not moved. Does Derp know about the nuke? No, they just know that it's a structure. They don't actually know what it is. It looks like Team 1's giving up for another attack. Essentially, who can withstand longer? Team 1, both teams at this point probably have tunnel vision or subcom vision, in the sense that they're one's primarily focused on the land game. He could have easily gone for nuke, could have gone for Paragon. He's going to go for artillery. Probably a little bit late for that. Probably should have gone that about 10 minutes ago. Would have had that online or almost online by now. Does have his own nuke online here in the northwest. But of course, Team 2 has an SMD and it is loaded. There's 5 anti-nuke missiles loaded in a clip, almost the 6th one. Probably needs more shielding, to be fair. To be fair, everything needs more shielding in this game. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything needs more shielding. But if Team 2 knows about that, maybe they'll target this first. The air grid isn't really pumping out ASF. I mean, they are, but I don't see a huge concentration here for Team 1. I could be wrong. I haven't checked the numbers in a while. Looks like that's a lot of units. Let's see, 26 ASF. Yeah, 26 ASF here for Team 1. Sub-Q has 50, so it's essentially a 2-to-1 advantage, plus all the gunships. Does have that advantage as well, being able to take out all those units on the ground. Would like to see more AA in the midst here for Derp. Looks like it's just blazes. Does have 109 blazes. 36 asylums, a couple of thistles, not isles, but thistles, and some absolvers, and that's it. 7 Colossus. I don't know if they're online, but they are being built, at least at a minimum. I wish they would take that off of the count. If just because a Colossus is starting to be built doesn't mean it's counting to online. Donut is online once again here for Team 1. Again, I don't know if that's really worth it. It's a lot of mass for that. T3 Naval Headquarters is online, and are they going for missile ships? No, it looks like they're going for omens. Could be going for missile ships. I feel like that'd be definitely more fruitful for Team 1, especially in the naval game. 3 Colossus sit underneath the surface of the water, waiting for commands to proceed onto land. Actually, there's a 4th one, excuse me. It was hiding. A lot of movement here from Team 1. Does Team 2 know about it? Yes, they do. They know about some of them at a minimum. Pings do go down saying, hey, you probably should move them southward. And ASFs do engage. The experimentals walking on land. And the ASFs actually being chewed up by Team 1's air. Gunships being used to try to deter those incoming experimentals. And it might force Team 1 to retreat, at least in some regards. You can see, again, it's going to take a while for one gunship to chew through all of those hit points. They might kill a Colossus by the time it gets there, but still, they're going to divert the donut at a minimum. ASS will be called forth to deal with that. Already dropped that experimental into the yellow. And will they kill it off before the donut? And the donut can start doing massive amounts of damage to those experimentals. Looks like the answer is no. And the experimentals have been diverted into the water. Looks like there's now an omen targeting that chicken in the water. Lots of water play here from both teams. Trying to use that environment to their advantage. One of those experimentals has been killed off. It is the chicken. Ion stem will, of course, pop up to the surface of the water and activate. How far along is that nuke, says Carl. Well, it is loaded. And it is currently nuking. It's going after Team 1's air grid. slash other nuke. This nuke is not loaded, and I do understand that, targeting the thing that can kill you off first and then going after everything else. SMD is not online here for Team 1. Definitely a huge oversight here, especially with how much time has passed in this game. No SMD. Definitely a missed opportunity and misplay outbound from Derp. That nuke will land. There's no stopping that. There's nothing that can shoot it out of the sky at this point. There's no, Novak satellite to stand above it for the YOLO to hit it kind of thing. Saw that game a while back. Still reminded of that game where there's another way to to use your satellites. But here comes the nuke. It's going to take out the nuke here from Team 1, and at that point, not going to feel good. Boom! And of course, it is the pretty nuke from the Seraphim. And how much mass did that kill off? Probably about 50,000, I would guess. Oh, no, shoot, 91,000. Dang, that's a lot more than I thought, probably due to the nuke. Missile ship is online for Team 1's Derp. The final attack has commenced. If this doesn't crack or take out most of the infrastructure here for Team 2, that might just be game. Chicken standing stalwart in defense, waiting for those units of those Blazes to engage on land. Blazes not wanting to engage on land due to the range on board that Chicken and Harbingers. All of the Blazes retreat. The Colossus searches full send at this point. They will be overpowering for the one Chicken and Harbingers to deal with. Of course, there is a Galactic Colossus online. The missiles targeting the SMD, it looks like, which would have been useful when Team 1 had a nuke. But Team 1 no longer has a nuke, so that's not really useful at this point. Nuke here now, says Carl. There is that emissary online. It cannot be protected at the current moment. Paragon was started, abandoned here from Team 1's Derp. And Shield says, Carl as well, looks like they're trying to shield that nuke. More shields are going to be built. 58 minutes on the clock. Donut, where is it going? All of those forces diverted northward. Don't know where they're going. T3 land headquarters also being targeted. Hasn't been shielded. Definitely a miscalculation on Team 2's part. How fucking those missiles hit? Can they hit that nuke? They don't know where the nuke is. So they don't know what to target or where to target it. It might be able to hit it, but it might just be barely out of range. It could, if it places itself here, it might be close enough. But again, it's the whole, they need the intel. Colossus, actually no, that's not a Colossus. That's a Chicken. It's just going to sit underneath the surface, and because of that, its Ion Storm's going to pop up. It might kill off the T3 T3 naval headquarters. The Donut has been called back to deal with said Chicken. And now we have some Ascendants being targeted by Blazes, and Engineers reclaiming an Omen. You don't see that every day. Land invasion to the northwest outbound here from Team 2, just going after everything that's up here. Gunships being used for some attack power. I don't think they can fire, can they? Well, if they land, they can't do anything. So that's not very useful for those transports. Nuke is launched. Oh, nope. It will launch. I saw the nuking symbol and went, but it hasn't opened up to fire the nuke as of yet. Team 2's Chems' base has been really just under assault the entire game, at least on the southern side, by Derp. Artillery landing in. Looks like they were able to pierce the shielding at least a little bit. Kills are with air, says Carl. Emissary fire landing in, going after, like I said, the air grid. SMD still online, has 7 anti-nuke missiles loaded in the clip. And missiles raining in all around. Should be focused on other things. The Chicken was defeated. I don't know where it went. Oh, it's actually right there. Looks like the Ion Storm almost took out the naval headquarters. Almost being shy of essentially 5,000 hit points of damage. Blaze is now coming in, targeting the Omen. I feel like the Chicken could easily target that. It's that close to the beachhead. 1 hour on the clock. It is officially an epic here. And I don't know. I mean, Team 1 still has a chance to win this. SMD has been built, and it's being loaded at the current moment, but unfortunately here it is not going to load in time, especially with the short travel distance of that second nuke. Team 1 has sent all of their units northward. Team 2 has sent all the units northward. Team 1 should be sending them in immediately, but they're not. Can't wait to see the stats for this one, says Carl. Yeah, definitely was a lot of stats. 434,000 mass reclaimed here for Team 2. Almost caught up to Team 1's total mass accrued at almost 2 million. But Nuke does land. Kaboom! Doesn't take out the SMD, very luckily here for Team 1. But like I said, Team 2, I mean, they moved all of the units away. Gunships moving into assist. Going to take a while to chew through those hit points, though, on board 6 Colossi. Second Ion Storm online. Going to chew through those hit points, though, very, very quickly. And it looks like it's just going to be Scorched Earth down here in the south. I don't know where all those units went here from Chems, but they're being diverted elsewhere. I don't know why. Colossus now being brought back southward. Where are the comms here for Team 2? They're over here. Chems control Ks. I don't know really why he control Ks. All of those. Oh, that's not going to feel good for those engineers. Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, there go the engineers supporting that nuke. 248,000 mass killed off by that one nuke. 2 nukes in total. And it's just the walk of the century. The failure of Team 1 was moving their units away from the defensive positions. All they had to do was sit there and wait, and that would have been it. Team 1 will pull it out just barely. 2 nukes landing in very critical spots here, and that will be the end of sub-Q's resistance here from Team 1, and that is the game. 1 hour, 2 minutes, almost on the dot, and Derp wins this game. Surprisingly, I have no idea. I mean, I do have an idea how. The biggest blunder that Team 2 made, and this was out from Chems, not to just single him out, but he moved all of his Colossus north and all of his units north. I knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to assault the main base, but Team 1 had built so many units in here, whether that be Colossus, missile launchers, whatever the case may be. Everything was over here. Team 2 should have kept them here. It would have done a huge amount of work. Maybe a Colossus 2 would have broken through, but it would have been enough for Team 2 to hold out, but that wasn't the case here. And the floodgates open, and that was it. But Team 1 was on the verge of defeat, but clawed it back and won just by one singular blunder. Let me know down in the comments what you felt about the match. Derp gets the MVP, of course. He is the last surviving player of the game, of this 1 hour game. And he did a very good job. Again, it was looking like he wasn't going to win. I was kind of thinking that Team 2 was going to, win this game just with the nuke. Apparently, it wasn't enough, and it was won with land. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please, of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, share this video with your friends, family, and, of course, your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.